Hello, everybody, and welcome. If you could, as people trickle in here, if you could type your name and where you're tuning in from, that would be awesome. I'm going to give it a few minutes for folks to log on here, but we are excited to have you here for how to build a multifaceted aromatherapy business. Hi, Danielle. Glad you're with us today. Hi, Tammy, Utah. Give it another minute here or so. I am here in the Portland, Oregon area, and it's a very nice blue sky fall day today. So feeling grateful for that.
We've got the Santa Anas blowing here in Southern California. So it's a bit
Yeah, a little windy, a little windy. We had that yesterday. Hi, Sue
Hey,
from
Sue.
Arizona. Sweet home. That's in my backyard. All right. Well, yes, please, if you're tuning in, go ahead and type where you're tuning in from. That would be great. We're gonna go ahead and get started. Oh, you have snow, Tammy. Oh my goodness, it seems late or early for snow. Um, that's interesting. We just got snow up at Mount Hood at our local mountain. Hi, Sarah. Okay, here we go. We're gonna go ahead and get started. So I'm Felicia Royce. I'm the Director of Alumni and Career Services here with ACHS. And I like to share our mission here. It's to lead the advancement of evidence-based integrative health and wellness education through experiential online learning in sustainable practices. So just a quick agenda before we get started. Your mic will be muted, and that's just because we do record and email out this webinar. So you will get this emailed to you a few hours after the webinar ends. And anyone who's not able to be here live with us today will also receive this recording. So that being said, we really want to make this as conversational as possible. So don't be shy, ask questions. We will try to integrate those questions into the presentation, and we'll also have time at the end for Q&A, but we really want to hear from you, even if it's just a comment. So please use that chat box. We are going to have just one panelist today who I'm going to introduce here in just a moment. And then we also have Catherine Swery on the line, and she's going to be here to help us with any technical needs. So if anything comes up technically, we have her support as well. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to ACHS alumni, Amanda or Mandy, May Fitzgerald. And yeah, go ahead and take it away, Mandy.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here today. I was very honored to be asked to be a panelist on this topic of how to build a multifaceted aromatherapy business. As the slide says, I graduated from ACHS with a Bachelor of Integrative Health Sciences with specialties in aromatherapy and herbal medicine. And I created my business, Wild at Heart Botanicals, in 2017. So since then, there wasn't a clear path for how to create my business. ACHS did an excellent job of giving me a good foundation in my studies. And they did a really good job of pointing me in the direction of professional organizations and encouraging me to take the ARC examination in order to become a registered aromatherapist. So having those tools was really helpful to know where to go initially. But, when you get out into the public and you start talking with people who want to know what you do and what your business is about, it can be difficult to navigate, and I might be getting ahead of ourselves. I might be getting.
Yeah, but we are going to get into all of that. But yeah, that's thank you so much for that like introduction, and I know everyone's excited to hear more about what you're doing in the field. So let's go ahead and get into our first question,
Sure.
um, which is what are the most beneficial tools and resources that you have used as you've built your business over the years?
So I was talking a little bit about ARC, the Aromatherapy Registration Council was an excellent resource and credential to add to give me more credibility. I think it's an excellent program that, in aromatherapy right now, we really don't have the umbrella that I think that we need, that one unifying credential that lets people know that you have learned what is necessary to be an aromatherapist, a professional aromatherapist. And I think the ARC provides that. So that is definitely one resource. Another resource was the Alliance of International Aromatherapists, reaching out to those professional organizations. There's many out there. There's NAHA is another one. There's IFPA, if you're more international based. The IFA is another. Really taking advantage of those professional organizations and going to conferences was huge. That is really where I started to find more of the businesses, the distillers that are selling the essential oils that are of the quality that we learn in ACHS that we need to be using for therapeutic use of essential oils. That's where I started making networking connections with other professional aromatherapists that could really give me that sense of camaraderie. It's wonderful to be around people who are as passionate as you are in what you're doing. Let's see, other resources. Definitely, going to the 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 websites and the the FDA website is an excellent resource to find what the current standards are for the products that you might be using or developing. Other beneficial tools. I know there's many. There are very many. More may come to mind, but those are the ones that are popping off the top of my head.
Oh, well, that was a lot. That was a very helpful list of resources. And I definitely agree that tapping into the professional organizations and going to conferences is really crucial, and meeting other professionals. And yeah, I
It
say it
really
all the time that we can't do this on an island by ourselves, right?
no, need
Yeah,
to find that team, your
exactly.
tribe. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Um, actually, I was thinking before I go into the next question, oops, I'm jumping ahead here on accident. Could you talk a little bit about your business? Like, what do you offer through your business? Maybe just give the audience a little bit of information about some of the services that you provide. I think it kind of goes along with the resources question.
Sure. So, I want to go back just a little bit and explain, when I first got into aromatherapy, I really wanted to create a product line. That was my goal when I started my studies at ACHS. I wanted to get out into the farmers markets and, just create products. And what I learned as I started, getting more deeper into my studies with ACHS is that there's so much more to aromatherapy than just the products that can be created with essential oils. The therapeutic side of things, where you're really getting deep into somebody's medical history and making sure that there's no interactions with their medications. So another beneficial tool. Thank you. That is me remember another one. And ACHS offers this to all of its students while you're in the studies, but it's Therapeutic Research Center, the Therapeutic Research Database, where you can actually get in there and type in medications and it will tell you the interactions between different essential oils and herbs. That is hands down a very beneficial tool that I still subscribe to after becoming a student. Okay, so what I found out as I started to try and create my product line and get out there into the farmers markets is that I was being put next to MLMs and hearing all that misinformation. And it was really difficult for me to explain to people why it was so important for them to sit down with an aromatherapist and have that consultation. A lot of people had a lot of questions about what they were hearing from MLMs. And I would find myself talking to people a lot more than they were buying my products, explaining the misinformation, explaining why safety was so important. So what I ended up doing from that was creating just a really basic crash course in essential oil safety. And I started teaching that as a class workshop. Sometimes I teach it as a workshop if we have a little more time, where we actually get into doing some organoleptic testing with different essential oils. So really, I found myself moving away from creating products myself and moving more into consulting people who were trying to create their own products. So I have now developed a few different blends with a company called Severa. I also have developed a product line with a woman named Danielle Dowling. She's a doctor in psychology. I have helped other businesses that are trying to get up and coming right now. They're still working on getting their stuff out. So I really shifted away from creating my own products to helping others create their products and teaching the public what essential oil safety is and why it's important.
Awesome.
That's what I find myself doing mostly now.
Yeah, very
I still
important
hope to
work.
have my own product line out there one day, but
Yeah, very important work. Okay, so moving on. Thank you for sharing all of that. So, why is research important to the field of aromatherapy, and how have you contributed to research in your role?
sure. Research is the basis of aromatherapy. Without research, we can't prove that aromatherapy is effective. We have a lot of basic research out there. We know that essential oils have, the constituents have actions and we know what they're capable of, but we really don't know what that does in humans yet. There's been a lot of studies on mice. There's been a few studies in humans, but if you read those studies, and if you are a student of Amanda Latin like I was, you really come to learn that a lot of the information that is needed for replication in those studies has been being left out to date. So I was invited back in 2021 to a meeting of the minds. Dr. Marion Reven gathered a bunch of us together, about 30 or so of us, to just say, hey guys, what's going on? We all recognize that research isn't where it needs to be. What are we going to do about it? And we set out to, the real initial point was to write a white paper. But as we were writing the white paper, we discovered that there was just a list that we could create for people of, different categories that were necessary for inclusion in research studies. So initially the list was just for people who are reading research to be able to decide whether there's any quality in the research that they're reading. Is this study replicable? And what we ended up calling that checklist is the treats checklist. And it just goes through, like I said, these different sections. One of them is, identification of the oils. So many studies out there were, had all these other methods that they were hitting all the bars of, they would have, oh man, I think there was one study that I'm thinking of right now where, they had like the EKGs on there, so they could see, what people's heart rates were and how the oils were affecting them, but they didn't include a Latin binomial. They said they were researching lavender, and as we know, as students of ACHS, there's 250 plus, if not more, variation species of lavender. So you can't just say, I'm studying lavender and you're good. And a lot of the research, a lot of those conducting research aren't trained in aromatherapy. So really getting out there as aromatherapists and letting people know what needs to be researched and what needs to be included for replication is extremely important. So ARCOT, the Aromatic Research Quality Appraisal Task Force, was formed out of that collaboration. I hope I'm not jumping around too much.
No, no, no.
And
You're
we
not.
are currently in the process of taking that treats checklist, which was published in the Journal of Integrative and Complementary Medicine this year. It was May of this year it was published. So we're taking that initial work and we're now conducting a Delphi study, which is just a consensus study. We're gathering all of the global experts in the aromatherapy world, and we're asking all of them now. We're taking it outside of the small task force that was created out of that initial meeting, and we're taking it out to all of the researchers who were writing these papers. We've invited them to come on board and give us their input, and other aromatherapy professionals. So we've created a survey. They're going to go through the survey and they're going to let us know what out of the things we have identified as important for inclusion, what they all feel is important for inclusion. So at the end of this study, the hope is that we will have an aromatherapy guideline to be added to other research guidelines, such as the consort.
Mm.
And when we're done
Amazing.
with that, we would really like student involvement. So I know that was a lot that I just threw out there, and I hope I hope it was all connected.
It did all connect. Thank you so much. So how would a student get involved with that if they were interested?
But let me put in the chat the really quick. I'm going to grab this. So our website is arcot.org. You can go there, and there is a field for you to reach out to us and let us know that you're interested. So once the experts have all let us know what they believe is necessary for inclusion, we will crunch all of that data and we'll come out with another set of guidelines, and we want students to be piloting those for us before we get it ready for publication.
That'd be amazing. Could you do me a favor, Mandy? Will you double check that? Did you put that in the chat box? You might
Oh,
need to put it to everyone. There it
there.
goes. Perfect.
Okay, panelists. Okay, there we go.
Perfect. 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 Awesome. Yeah. Does everyone see that? It should be marked to everyone. So like if you have the drop down there, and here I can also, in fact, I'll just go ahead and do this. I'll
Can't
put,
see it. Huh. It says host and panelists,
it
but
should
oh,
say
I
everyone, but that's okay. I did it. No
thank
worry.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to make sure everyone got that.
Yeah.
That is really exciting, like super exciting. And I'm
It
so glad
really,
you're involved in that.
thank you. I was honored to be asked to be a part of it. I'm honored to serve on the board, and it really, it's through my studies at ACHS, I became really, really interested in the research side of things. I just think, that whole, who was it, Hippocrates that said it first? Who said standing on the shoulders of giants? I just love that quote.
Yeah,
And it's so true. We are where we are because others have come before us, and now it's time to take it further.
exactly. Exactly. Natalie said, what a great story that emphasizes the importance and need for good research. And that's, yeah, in
It
agreement.
really is. Without it, we don't have a profession. We
Mhm.
don't have a sustainable profession. We can create products, but we can't explain to the medical field why it's important for us to be doing those consultations. That's what I would really like to be doing. I would like to be sitting down with individuals, and I do, but that's not it. The public doesn't understand yet why that's important. And it's really important for us to do this basic research
Yeah.
at this point in order for that to be more recognized. And we were already cited in the journal Nature, which is pretty fascinating. We haven't even gotten through our guidelines yet, and they're already starting to pick up our work. So, and they're including professional aromatherapists in their studies. So we're getting somewhere, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's so awesome. And your quote was from Sir Isaac Newton.
Thank you, Sir Isaac Newton. A
Yes.
little, a little more recent than Hippocrates. Thank you.
Yeah, but hey,
Hard to remember these things on.
yeah. Okay, so moving on. Thank you for all of that. And yes, please, everybody go to that website and see how you can get involved. It's really exciting. So please share your experience with the ARC exam process and getting that credential. And if you could also explain why that is important as a professional in this field.
Sure. So the process was pretty straightforward. I went to the ARC website, which is arc.org. And on their website, they explain exactly what they need from you. They explain, how you will prove that you've got the education and the background in order to take the test. You basically just give them everything that they need, and then you schedule yourself to sit for the exam. There was a testing site here, I think about an hour away from me, so it wasn't too bad. And it's just a testing site. There were all kinds of different people for testing for different credentials at that testing site. I think I was the only one there for aromatherapy, but you're in a room with a bunch of other people taking tests. They've got the desks with the blinders up. It was about a 3-hour test. Well, I was given 3 hours to complete the test. Prior to taking the test, on their website, they explain the different resources that you can study from. So they have different texts that they encourage you to be studying from. As an ACHS graduate, I was more than prepared for the test. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was difficult, it was challenging, but because of the education I received from American College of Healthcare Sciences, I was prepared. I did do some studying prior. There were some resources there that I wasn't familiar with. from ACHS, but not a whole lot. And I found actually that the resources that I had at ACHS were plenty for me to be able to pass the exam. Why is it important? Really, being able to say you're a registered aromatherapist is very much in following with what the rest of the medical profession recognizes for, being able to prove that you have gone the extra mile. It's very much like the registered nurse. And I know it's not, registered nurses aren't, that's not a credential, that's an actual
License.
license, right? It's not the same as a license. Maybe one day we'll be able to get licensed. I think ARC is where we will grow that ability. But it is really showing the medical community that you're serious, that you have gone the extra mile, that you have, that extra mile is going to an unaffiliated nonprofit that has, they have nothing to do with the schools, even though they've set, these are the wickets we want you to hit. They have no affiliation with those schools, and it's really showing that you're proving that you've learned what you needed to learn. And it's the only credential in our field, I believe, that, well, yeah, it's the only organization that's doing that.
Mhm.
I really would like to see all of us get behind it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We did get a question about cost, and we could look at their website. I'm sure their cost is on there. I can't remember off the top of my head what the fee is to take the exam. It's like
I think
150 or
it's
something, right?
300.
Oh, I was way off. So like
I might be way off. It's been a while, but yeah, we could
I
look
can
in.
look it up too. Yeah, we can figure that out. But it's nice on the ARC website. It's very well like organized on there. If you go to their catalog, it has everything there that you need to know about the exam, the content that's covered on the exam, the cost, the dates. There's only a few dates that you can take the exam per year.
Oh, yeah.
But if you go onto the ARC website, you can see all of that. And I would recommend downloading that catalog. It's really
Yeah, I
helpful.
would say even before you graduate, just, so that while you're taking your studies, what you should really be focusing on.
Yeah, absolutely. And then do you know, Mandy, is there a place that houses all of the registered aromatherapists? Like, is there a place if somebody's looking for a registered aromatherapist that they could see that information?
The ARC provides that on their website. So you
Okay,
can
that's
go to
what I was
their
thinking.
website and you can search for a professional aromatherapist in your area, for a registered aromatherapist. Yeah.
Very cool. Thank you
Mhm.
so much for sharing all of that. It's really helpful. Okay. And what is one hurdle or challenge, or share as many as you'd like? I know as you build a business, we have to pivot sometimes. And so, yeah, do you want to share a little bit about some of the things that you've overcome or faced as a business owner?
Sure. I would say the biggest hurdle is the misinformation that's out there. The DIYers, there's nothing wrong with wanting to be DIY, but if you're going to be making recommendations therapeutically, you know we all know here that you need to have more education on your side. So that was the biggest hurdle, and is still the biggest hurdle for me in my business, is when people hear what I do, they automatically think I'm an MLMer, or hey, can you throw a party at my house? Yeah, just the biggest hurdle is not having the recognition in the aromatherapy field yet that there are professional aromatherapists, but that is changing. So
Yeah.
That's one. Another one is there's really, for herbalists, you've got the American Herbalist Guild that has a mentorship program that is great for you to become a registered herbalist. That doesn't exist in the aromatherapy world yet. We are working on that, and ACHS has a mentorship program, which is great. So I definitely encourage you to take part in that, and I will be coming one of the possibilities for mentorship here shortly. So I didn't have a mentor. I created my own internship program. Really. I got involved at AIA. I threw my name in the hat for volunteering. I became a rep initially. And then I was invited to join the research committee, which, I mean, that's my passion. So I was very honored to be a part of that committee. And I just dove in, and I found in volunteering my time to be a representative and to be on the research committee that I was surrounded with all these like-minded people, many who have been in the medical field for a very long time, who have been in aromatherapy for a very long time, who have been movers and shakers in our industry and field. And I get to learn from them. I get to, network with these amazing folks. So it was a hurdle, but it was one I found my way over. And I'm still finding my way through it. And surrounding myself with those people. I don't think we'll ever be done, and we should never be done surrounding ourselves with people who are really passionate in what we do.
I 1000% agree with that. Yeah, the networking and learning from each other. And I really commend you for being so industrious and to like developing your own program to get, connected and to put your name in the hat. And it's really good advice. If it doesn't exist, how can you create it? Right? So I really commend you for doing that. Sounds like you've done that a lot as you've built your business in many different areas.
I have. And that is, a lot of what I do is volunteer. I don't get paid for a lot of what I do, but I see it as, doctors go through internships, nurses, like we all in the medical profession, you need, and that is what we are integrative health. You need to have somebody who is wiser and who's been there before holding your hand through it. And there was volunteering at a professional organization is a great way to do that.
Great advice. Great advice. Okay. Well, I think you kind of touched on this. So maybe share, what's worked for you as far as outreach, like as you've started connecting with other professionals. I think you mentioned conferences. That's a great way. Getting involved with AIA. Is there anything else you can think of as far as putting yourself out there or meeting people in the field that we haven't discussed yet?
Sure, I can talk a little bit more about what you find at conferences and what you can take advantage of with AIA. They host monthly webinars that are educational webinars that you can earn your CEs through. But a lot of those webinars, you've got people in the chat just like you do here. And so you can network with people through chat, and you can network with the speakers that are offering, their presentations. Conferences are great for that. Being in person, I've had so many fangirl moments at conferences because I get to meet, the authors of these texts that that I'm so I don't know, I've been enamored with as an aromatherapist. And you get to sit at a lunch table with these people. I got to sit at lunch with Robert Pappas at this last conference and pick his brain and talk to him about what's important to him in research. Like, you Um, yeah, that's my favorite networking technique, is just showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so how would somebody find a conference? Is it usually through like an AIA and NAHA, like they do kind of a yearly conference? Are there smaller conferences that you've went to? Like how often are these opportunities available?
It is pretty much yearly, if not multiple times a year. So there's also another major conference. Botanica is huge. That's more of an international, very clinically focused, put on by Rhiannon Lewis. Um, I don't believe she's doing those in person anymore. They're more online. Um, but that is another option. NAHA and AIA do their conferences every 2 years, but in years that aren't coinciding. So we just had our conference. NAHA will be having a conference next year. Then we'll be having a conference in 2026.
I
Uh,
see.
but there are, I mean, internationally, all of the professional organizations, or a lot of the professional organizations, are putting on conferences. So you can find online conferences, and you can find those, like if you want to go abroad and find a conference, there's opportunities for you to do that too.
Be amazing. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, moving on. If you could share a tip on how to promote your business. We have a lot of students and alumni in our audience today that are hoping to build their own businesses and would love to hear just, what marketing techniques have worked for you. What's really helped you grow.
I would say that you really need to sit with yourself and decide where your niche is. Who are your uh, who is your client? Are you serious about going into integrative health, or are you wanting to create your own product lines? Because I mean, we can have both from what we've learned here at ACHS. It was really difficult for me to stay away from becoming an influencer, because that's what everybody says you should be doing. But I had to really sit with myself and say, if I promote myself in that way, will I be taken seriously in the medical field? And I'm not saying that you can't be. I know there's psychologists out there that are influencers. I know that there are, um, there's a lot of influencers that are taken seriously, but it just wasn't right for me. And I try really hard when I do post things on social media to post research, and to try and keep it away from the DIY as much as possible. So I guess, I don't know if that's sharing a tip on how to promote, or if it's sharing a tip on just really knowing exactly how you want to promote yourself. Cause I feel like in the time that we're in, with social media being so prevalent, it's really easy to get down that slippery slope. Sorry, getting an itch.
That's okay. No, that's really good advice. And Anissa had said here, good transparency. That's one of her concerns. Yeah, and it sounds like, really kind of reflecting on your target audience, who is going to be using your product, if you are working with clients as a consultant, what will that look like, right? And like really narrowing that down. Um,
Right. And I'm
yeah.
not saying you can't use social media. If you use social media, you are then an influencer. There is a difference. And I have found it very, a lot of people, they want to encourage you on what you should be doing. I I received tons of advice from family and friends on what I should be doing to make my business better. Stand strong in what you want to be, and know who you want to be, and then that's what you put out there.
Mhm. Mhm. And network,
And
and bring your cards with you, and
bring your
be
cards
on
with you.
LinkedIn. Yeah.
Gather that, that network of people that are just as passionate as you are, that are movers and shakers in this field, because aromatherapy is on the rise. And while MLMs have helped us to really get the idea of aromatherapy out there, aromatherapy as a profession is right on the brink of really blossoming. So if that's what your focus is, like, stand strong in that, and don't let people sway you into thinking that you're just another salesman. It's really hard to separate that, because people, oh, well, where do I get my oils? When I'm teaching these workshops, um, really have to be mindful about, I'm not just there to sell.
Mhm. You're there to educate as well.
Right.
Yeah, that's really helpful. Thank you so much. And I think this is our last question of the day. What is your one piece of advice you would give to somebody who wants to open up their own aromatherapy business?
Do it.
Yeah,
Jump in. Jump in. It's very rewarding. I have
yeah.
to say, I never would have imagined when I graduated back in well, I initially graduated from the AAS program in 2015, but then added the BS back in 2023. Um, I wouldn't have imagined that I would be on a board with my professor, Amanda Latin. I would not have imagined that I'd be on a task force helping set research standards with Joy Bowles. Like, you just got to jump in and do it. Just, I don't know how I'm here, but I'm passionate about this field.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you've also put in a lot of work. You've put in hard work, and you've stayed motivated, and you've stayed connected to your why and your passion. Um, And I want to mention too, just with career services here with ACHS, we have a lot of resources available. So if you are looking to build a business, reach out to me, because we have a lot of business building templates, coaching, the mentorship program, as Mandy had talked about earlier. So we really want to give you as many tools as possible so that you can step into a business when you want to, and feeling ready. We'll make sure at the end that you get my contact information. Okay, so I saw a couple of questions here and there, but I think we've addressed most of them. If anyone has any other questions for Mandy or for myself, this would be a good time to put that in the chat. So, and yes, Catherine just put in the link to my calendar if you wanted to schedule some time to talk about your business and planning. Um, but yeah, if there's anyone that has any questions, feel free to put that in the chat, and we'll get to those questions. Um, and then I just wanted to share, because we're always enrolling. If you are interested in doing a deeper dive into the field of aromatherapy, these are the programs we currently offer. So if you want more information, I did put admissions contact information here on this slide. Micro-credentials are another way to build your skills and your resume. And we do offer quite a few that are specific to aromatherapy. So definitely check those out if you're looking for a more self-paced educational pathway. And like I had said, you have support here. So I really want to just, give a heartfelt thank you to Mandy for being here today and sharing all of her wisdom. And yeah, I mean, this is really, really valuable information. And I really appreciate you taking the time to share this with all of us, and to encourage those that have this passion to move forward.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm honored to be here. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And thank you everybody who showed up today, and for all of your comments and your questions. This will be recorded, like I said, and sent out. And here's all my contact information again, just in case you didn't get it the first time. And yeah, we're all here to support you. So I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and take care.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.